Thank you. Welcome to the Marquette City Commission, Monday, November 26, 2012. Would you please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag? I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. City Clerk, could we do a roll call, please?
Yes, Your Honor. Commissioner Kimbenzi,
Here.
Commissioner Coyne, Commissioner Ryan,
Here.
Commissioner Snyder,
Here.
Commissioner Stonehouse,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Nemi,
Here.
and Mayor DePietro.
Here. Is there a motion to excuse Commissioner Coyne? Commissioner Stonehouse?
I move to excuse Commissioner Coyne.
Thank you. Second. Commissioner Ryan?
I'll second the motion.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Opposed? Motion carries 6-0. Is there any agenda changes for this evening? Commissioner Kimbenzi?
If I could add just for discussion, municipal fundraising and gifting.
Okay, that'll be agenda number 10. And that's for what?
Your Honor, you need one support to add an
Okay,
item.
just a second. Okay, we got a second from Commissioner Nemi. And that's for the youth, what?
Fundraising and municipal gifting.
Okay. Okay, that'll be agenda number 10. Announcement at this time, I got some committee and boards, art.
Your Honor, I think we need a motion to approve the agenda.
Oh, okay. Excuse me. Is there a motion to approve the agenda? Commissioner Ryan?
I move we approve the agenda as amended.
Is there a second? Commissioner Snyder?
Support.
Thank you. All in favor, say yes.
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 Opposed? Motion passes 6-0. Announcements at this time is we got one opening for Arts and Culture Advisory Committee. Board of Review, 2 openings. Local Officers Compensation Commission, 3 openings. Park and Recreation Advisory Board, 1 opening. Recreational Authority, Regional Recreation Authority Business Plan Ad Hoc Committee, 1 alternate opening. And Sister City Advisory Committee, 2 openings. Sustainable Committee Ad Hoc Committee, Sustainable Community Ad Hoc Committee, Parks and Recreation Advisory Board rep, that's 1 vacancy. And Marquette County Transit Authority City Representative, 2 vacancies. At this time, we're going to recognize the outgoing member, Diane Jarvie. Could you meet me up at the lectern, please? At this time, we like to present a certificate of appreciation presented to Diane Jarvie for volunteer effort on the Arts and Culture Advisory Committee. Thank you for your hard work and dedication in serving the citizens of this community. And we thank you very much for all you've done, and we also wish you the best in your endeavors. And with that, we will present a city pen and a shirt for you. And this is for Diane Jarvie, and our appreciation for all she has done. Would you like to say something before you leave? Thank you very much for doing that.
I would just like to say that I really enjoyed the time that I was doing it, and unfortunately another job came up that I couldn't continue with it, but it was a great committee, and if you know anybody that would like to serve. It's a good group of people, and I feel like we really accomplished a lot while I was there, so I enjoyed it. I'll miss it.
And we'd also like to have Diane, if she knows somebody, to talk them into joining the board. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. At this time, we have a presentation for Marquette Brownfield Redevelopment Authority by Sherry Davy. Sherry Davy, thank you.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor, Commissioners, City staff, and visitors. I'm delighted to be here on behalf of the board. I wanted to focus on, this is really a briefing as opposed to a presentation, so it will be brief. But many things are going on with the Marquette City Brownfield Authority, and on behalf of my board, we wanted to be here to make sure that you knew the direction we're traveling. We are, of course, in tandem with the city as we do these things, and we want to make sure, though, that if there are questions to be asked, we're all traveling together on our great voyage. I'd like to recognize members of the Brownfield Authority Board, the Chair, Carol Vining Moore, and Dave Campagna, who is currently on our board. I'll share a little bit of the history that I've had since I have been on the Brownfield Authority as executive director. I wandered into City Hall about 16 months ago and was looking to be involved in a volunteer capacity with the Brownfield Authority, having served on a Brownfield Authority at another military base that had closed at Kinchlow. I was a township trustee and served on the board and saw the difference that a Brownfield Authority can make. And so it was a no-brainer that once I retired from the position I had held for 10 years in Marquette, and I wanted to give something back to the city, that this would certainly be a consideration. So I've had a great opportunity to join the folks that have been put on the Brownfield Authority. And I want to begin by saying thank you to the City Commission for appointing the people that you have, and to thank the city manager, who's been very, very helpful, to thank the staff. They are just absolutely awesome. And in the process of them hiring staff to come in and be the executive director, I'm kind of like the administrative assistant and the executive director and all those things in between. But you have provided our authority with an excellent board, the appointments that you've made, and I'm really pleased to see that we have an opening that potentially is going to be filled this evening. We have a very dynamic board. The majority of our board are pretty new, having served approximately over the last year. But they are coming from small business in many cases. They certainly are committed to the process. They're great communicators, and I think we have some awesome things that we're going to be able to do collectively for the city of Marquette, utilizing their talents. So the history, as you know, the Brownfield began in '97, and I'm not familiar with why it ceased to be for a while, and then it came back into existence. And I suspect the greatest theme there was the need and the opportunity. And we've seen the opportunity. From our history come new beginnings. We only need to look at Founders Landing and the beautiful new hotel sitting down there, the gorgeous boardwalk that allows our city residents and the neighbors and the folks who visit the city an opportunity to get next to our great Lake Superior, and that's all part of it. But the Founders Landing project, and I want to share with you that In a recent visit by Senator Levin to the area, he shared with me comments on the hotel and his belief that the Brownfield program is such a vital program. And he certainly has committed his support, as has Senator Stabenow. But I think it's very important that when we have the opportunity to showcase what we have going on here and we can see recognition at all levels of government, we're doing good things. One of the things that with the Founders Landing Group, we are planning some work sessions in the very near future because things are progressing along that line, and we want to make sure that we're all traveling at the same speed. We continue as the Brownfield Authority. We meet with the Founders Landing. Actually, we had a meeting this afternoon. We meet every 2 weeks to talk about the plans that they hope to implement that have been approved in the past by the city and working out the details. But those will be coming back to you, so you'll have a greater opportunity to explore any questions or concerns that you may have, because it certainly is our intent that we are all creating and with the same vision. And our most recent project, which we're very, very excited about, the 857 West Washington project, the Viridia Group. And we have a group of people that will be going down to Lansing on Tuesday and Wednesday. Commissioner Nemi, thank you, has indicated he will be there to help support the Act 381 plan that Viridia is asking for to be able to obtain the tax structures that they need to capture state taxes on their mixed-use development. And I'm sure everyone is as enthused as we are when you look at that structure and you know what can be. And personally, having lived in Marquette now for about 12 years, what I like the absolute best about it is it's going to tie together our downtown and the outreach area so very well. It's going to tie it together so we don't have a city that looks like, you know, part of the city left off here and began here. I think it's going to be just a wonderful project, but we're so pleased that we're going to have about 4 members of our board that will be going down to Lansing on Wednesday, and we're certainly hopeful for great outcomes there. And in that project, too, we are going to be planning to meet with you very soon. And Cliffsdale, the work group continues to meet, met recently with MDEQ and are planning work sessions as well for 2013. So it's going to be a busy time. There are a lot of really, really great things going on. We have just recently submitted an EPA grant, and it's highly competitive. And last year in the Upper Peninsula, no one received it. But that doesn't delay us from wanting to apply. We have applied. The opportunity it provides would be a great one. It would allow it. What we have applied for is for a $400,000 grant. $200,000 is for petroleum sites. The other $200,000 are for other types of hazardous substances. And we won't know what's going to come of that until probably this spring, until the EPA gets their budget and knows what they have to work with, but we're hopeful. And whether or not we receive the grant, it is a wonderful outreach. I mean, we're certainly hopeful we will, because it's going to provide us with the opportunity to bring in a number of people, as you have done with the waterfront safety, as you've done with so many other programs in the city. It brings in all variety of folks to work on the things that we all care about. And obviously, you know, if we have folks all working together, we're going to get greater outcome. And we are hopeful with that from the EPA grant. We had great community support. The health department, the city of Marquette provided a letter of support to us, both U.S. senators. The Sault Ste. Marie tribe of Chippewa Indians were just phenomenal. They called and said, "Tell us what you need and we'll do it." And I ran into the tribal chair last Monday when he was up here doing his his tribal meeting, and the first thing he said is, "Did you get what you needed?" And I said, "Yes, we did." So we're hopeful. And again, just the dimension of this, to give us the opportunity to look and identify those sites. And from there, we do our work to find those sites and get them clean again. And then we start building. So, and as I said, like other models shown by the city, it will create a great opportunity to broaden the input from those we all seek to serve. And we'll continue to look at opportunities for the brownfield to find funding to help any of the projects that are determined to be issues that can greater help and grow the community, whether it's job resources, natural environment, or better health. Our board members, as I mentioned, we have a phenomenal board, and we have recently joined the National Brownfield Association in an attempt to see what else is out there, what we can learn, how we can implement what other people have done. And of course, our great hope, and I know you've heard this other times, is that we have phenomenal projects here. We're sitting on a couple of them already, and we want to be the ones that go to the National Brownfield and say, look what Marquette has done. Look at the collaboration of all the folks that work together to make this phenomenal program. So we feel like we have some great tools, but we want to make sure that we invest in our board members, that they learn what's out there, that they put into practice those things that they see other people doing, that they know they can bring it right back here, and we can do it too. So I guess that's basically, what I wanted to offer to you. I think our philosophy is that, we want to take the blights of our history and make them beautiful and productive, and opportunities for planned progressive growth with good jobs that don't negate our wonderful natural assets in the city of Marquette. So I thank you again for all of the support you have provided to the Brownfield Authority, and I want you to know that at any time, if there is information or opportunities to meet with you, we certainly are open to that. You just need to let me know, and be happy to do that. So thank you for the opportunity to be here. Are there any questions anyone has? Yes.
Okay, I want to just open up this section for the commissioners if they have any comments or concerns. Any commissioners that wish to ask Sherry Davy any questions at all? Commissioner Kambenzi.
First, thank you for being here, and thanks to the other members that are here. I am a newer member to the commission, but I'm wondering, is there a staff liaison that you work with?
Indeed, yes.
Okay.
The city, as I said, has been phenomenal. Carl is the liaison, and he has been just terrific. Before that, we had Darlene Inch, and Darlene really kind of led the charge before an executive director was hired. Darlene was kind of the go-to person, and she, held all the threads together, did a phenomenal job. But yes, Carl was there at the meeting today, and he asked wonderful questions. So yes, you have a great liaison. Gary has been very involved with the financial aspect. We couldn't do without Diane. I mean, Diane just, is phenomenal, and we so appreciate her. So all of the staff, Dennis, everybody that, when I have gone in there and said, I'm the newbie, and what do I need to know, and when do I need to know it? I mean, they've been phenomenal. So yes, but Carl gets the credit for that. So
I just have one more question. That is, how are the projects picked?
Well, they're not really picked as much as they come to us. If there's a piece of property, in the case of the bakery, it was a piece of property that some individuals realized had value, obviously beyond sitting there as a vacant land. And they came to the Brownfield Authority and the city to vet the idea of what they wanted to do, how could they do it, and what would be there in place for them. So that's kind of how it becomes. We don't go out and market and, find people. They kind of find us. But going back to the EPA grant, that would be the most phenomenal thing that we could do, would be to have funding to define those pieces of property. What is the issue? What would it cost to clean it up, and could we do this? And at that point, then we have the people who come to us that say, I want that piece of property to do a whatever with. And, so that's kind of how it works.
You all set with that? Any other commissioner? Commissioner Ryan?
I don't know if we're unique or not. The example you use of the Viridia project, is a very good one, where it's private sector, people coming, needing support, the city and the brownfield providing it. In Marquette, we have a lot of situations where it's city land that's involved. Obviously, Founders Landing, Cliffs Dow. I think in those cases, it's really important we be on the same page, and I think you referred to that. But I think we do have to have some discussions about that to make sure that we're all marching forward together and, as you say, have the same vision, because there's some very substantial pieces of land in the city of Marquette that the commission has some views about them as well. So,
And we welcome the opportunity. This is kind of like the Viridia project. That was kind of a, here it is, and you run as fast as you can run, and that's what we all do. But absolutely, we understand it's very essential that we all run together. We don't run out in front, and we don't need to necessarily be behind, but we do need to run together. So I think you're going to see that kind of relationship as we move forward. And as you pointed out, there are some projects out there that are certainly going to involve that. But Dennis has been, very, very helpful in that regard as well. So, I don't think that will be an issue, but, I certainly hope you don't ever hesitate to call the chair or call myself and say, look, we have some questions about this, and we want to have a chance to explore this. So, we're all learning together.
Commissioner Stonehouse?
Well, only, I think that I, too, am very concerned, I think, as Commissioner Ryan mentioned, that we're able to make sure we're doing these things together and keeping each other very much informed of what those activities are. And I'm particularly concerned or interested, I guess, in determining as to how the brownfield board's priorities mesh in with what the city sees as its vision. And that vision and priorities being set, for example, by the city master plan and, of course, coordinated and approved through the city commission. So I do look forward to sitting down with you all at a work session and trying to go through those issues. I think they'd be very illuminating for everybody, and hopefully a very instructive, I think, for both groups.
Absolutely, and thank you for that.
Any other commissioners? Commissioner Ryan? No. Okay. With that, I'll close this section. I also would like to thank you very much for that presentation, and yes, we will be meeting in the near future, so thank you again, and your staff. Appreciate it very much. At this time, with the boards and committees, we're going to be going to appointments. City Clerk?
Those are appointments that would be for Christina Spitz of Brownfield Redevelopment Authority, term ending 02/01/15. Robert Frack, Harbor Advisory Committee, for a term ending 06/01/15. Sarah Stonebrunner, Market Housing Commission, for a term ending 06/09/14. And Walter Lindela, Arts and Culture Advisory Committee, for a term ending 06/01/15.
Thank you. Commissioner Nemi?
Thank you, Your Honor. I move that we appoint Christina Spitz to the Marquette Brownfield Redevelopment Authority for the term stated, Robert Frack to the Harbor Advisory Committee, Sarah Stoneburner to the Marquette Housing Commission, and Walt Lindela to the Arts and Culture Advisory Committee for the respective terms noted.
Is there support? Commissioner Kimbanzi?
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Nemi, anything further?
I just want to thank these people for being willing to serve their city. It's certainly, we've got a lot of boards and committees. We're making some headway at staffing them, and it's through the good graces of people like this that we're able to accomplish that.
Thank you. Commissioner Kimbanzi?
Nothing further.
Any, Commissioner Ryan?
I just want to add, so everyone knows, and I think most people do, but these are all people that just step forward. You know, this is not something the city engineers. These are people who volunteer to be on these committees, and I think that's great. And they all bring different views and fresh perspectives to these assignments. So we're very fortunate, as Commissioner Nemi said, to have them volunteering. But that's really what they are. They're people in the community who see opportunities and step forward.
Thank you, Commissioner Ryan. Any other comment? Seeing none, there's a motion by Commissioner Nemi, supported by Commissioner Kimbanzi. All in favor, say yes.
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 Opposed? Motion passes 6-0. At this time, we'll open up public comment. Comment may not exceed 3 minutes per person. Citizens may reserve time to speak on agenda items. This may result in item being moved up on agenda at the mayor's discretion. Anybody wishing to address the commission at this time?
Ready?
Okay.
Okay. Frank Jeff Verito, 350 East Ridge, Marquette. These are my opinions. October 29th, Mr. Ryan sought to put the fireworks issue to rest by saying he doesn't want the city to spend the $35,000. No one implied the city would pay. Donations would come in as always, even if to a committee. My suggestion was to modify the contract language. We heard Mr. Ryan respond to a totally different point than the one raised, which keeps delaying issues rather than putting them to rest. An official for the fireworks committee called my comments hogwash without offering any detail. What's hogwash? That the vendors were upset? That the charities would have raised thousands more on a busy Thursday night? That thousands of citizens missed the best fireworks show of their lives? That people aren't wondering how such a breakdown of common sense could ever occur when every other municipality in the region knew better? That city officials couldn't have stepped in to postpone the show on account of lightning, even if it wasn't the high-risk variety? The official isn't here to respond. Mr. DePietro is our best choice of a chairman under less than ideal circumstances. We'll all agree he's a great, well-meaning guy. It's even nicer to see two younger members who've already shown a willingness to proceed more cautiously because their generation will bear the consequences of poor land use decisions for longer, such as the roundabout, Lower Harbor Park, Lakeshore site, and Hartwood. It's also true that we now have two big names on the board. What's bothersome is having watched one of them influence Mr. DePietro and Schneider. The fact remains that we still have a majority of members who want to grab now. For example, Mr. Ryan's suggestion to sell properties in the woods adjacent to the McClellan extension. The same mentality we've seen exhibited on County Road 595 and on the Hartwood tract. To carry this mentality into another year is scary, not to mention a fear that this majority also disfavors our right to free speech if it's critical of this board. October 29th, Mr. DePietro commended Mr. Kivala for being present when two rescued kids were brought ashore. Minutes earlier, you'd heard compelling accusation regarding the loss of life at Picnic Rocks. Perhaps Mr. DePietro realizes he's another one of the 7 who ignored pleas to get Picnic Rocks guarded. This when we all knew there'd be another drowning, an out-of-towner who had no way of knowing such incredible danger lurks there. So you're treated this way because over many years you've shown no effort to learn from recurrent mistakes. A kid's life lost needlessly and you still refuse to get anyone out there, contributing to a more recent occurrence. Let the critic keep calling these comments hogwash. One thing we'll agree on is that if my 14 years of research is generally incorrect, then such ridicule of you should not be allowed. So anyone who cares, please analyze every word that every person said on the public record. we'll find out where the real hogwash lies.
Thank you, sir. Anybody else wishing to address the commission at this time?
Amy Conover, 419 North 4th Street. I would like to begin by welcoming our new commissioners, Sarah Convenzi and Mike Coyne. I'd like to congratulate you both on successful campaigns and look forward to the decisions to be made by this board in the upcoming years. And I would also like to welcome our new mayor, Johnny DePietro. Along with that, I would like to make an announcement and invite any members of the Marquette community who are interested to a recycling forum that will be held tomorrow, basically to find out more about the current status and future plans for recycling in Marquette and in the area. That will be at 7 o'clock tomorrow, Tuesday, November 7th, in the Lions Room at the Peter White Public Library for anyone who's interested.
Thank you. Anybody else wishing to address the commission at this time? Anybody else wishing to address the commission at this time? Seeing none, we'll close this portion of the public comment and move to consent agenda. City Clerk?
Yes, Your Honor. Item A, approve the minutes of the November 13, 2012 City Commission meeting. Item B, approve the total bills payable in the amount of $1,507,067.99. Item C, decrease the current special assessment interest rate of 4.5% to 4% for the period December 1st, 2012 through May 31st, 2013. And item D, authorize the city manager or his designee to sign the agreement extending the lease with Charter Communications through January 31st, 2013 for additional rental payments of $200 for each additional month.
Thank you. Commissioners, what's your pleasure? Commissioner Ryan?
I move the consent agenda be approved.
Your Honor, we have one bill payable to Commissioner Schneider. Could we take his?
I'll restate my motion. I move with the consent agenda be approved, including the payment of bills, excluding the payment to Commissioner Schneider for expenses. That will be dealt with separately.
Thank you. Is there support? Commissioner Namey?
Thank you, Your Honor, and I'll second the motion.
Thank you. Commissioner Ryan, anything further?
No.
Commissioner Namey?
Nothing, Your Honor.
Any other commissioner? Seeing none, all in favor say yes.
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 Opposed? Motion passes 5-0.
Jason, Schneider voted in that one. Yeah,
Oh,
6-0.
okay. It passes 6-0. Thank you. Commissioner Ryan?
I move we approve payment, and I forgot the amount, to Commissioner Schneider for
8384.
expenses in the amount of $83.84.
Is there support? Commissioner Stonehouse?
I will support.
Thank you. Commissioner Ryan?
Nothing.
Commissioner Stonehouse? Any other commissioner? All in favor say yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Motion
Yes.
passes 6-0. Thank you. 5-1
One abstention from Commissioner Schneider.
extension, Commissioner Snyder. Motion passes 5-0.
That's the
Thank
whole
you.
reason we did that.
Thank you. New business, request for revision of fee schedule for minor PUD amendments. City Clerk?
Yes, Your Honor. Background. On September 10, 2012, the City Commission approved an amendment to the zoning ordinance that provides for administrative completion of revisions to plan unit developments, or PUDs. The current fee for a PUD revision minor is $437, is based on the previous ordinance requirement for minor revisions to be reviewed by the Planning Commission. The new ordinance standard of an administrative review for a PUD minor revision is an equivalent process to an administrative review of a site plan, which the fee is $109. Therefore, staff recommends the fees be the same. Fiscal effect, Fees reflect actual cost for the services performed. Recommendation, change the fee for PUD revision minor from $437 to $109. Alternatives as determined by the commission.
Thank you. Commissioners? Commissioner Stonehouse?
Your Honor, I motion to change the fee for the PUD revision minor from $437 to $109.
Thank you. Support by Commissioner Ryan.
Yes.
Commissioner Stonehouse?
No further comments.
Commissioner Ryan?
Well, I think in all cases, these are places where people are developing in our community, and it makes sense if there's a minor change that we not penalize them for it. So if this is what it cost us to do it, then we should do it this way.
Thank you. Any other commissioner? Seeing none, I'll ask the question. All in favor, say yes.
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 Opposed? Motion passes 6-0. Number 5, report and recommendation, Title 5 plan. 6.
Your Honor, background, the Title VI of the Civil Rights Acts of 1964 states that no person in the United States shall be subjected to illegal discrimination of any program or activity receiving federal financial assistance. MDOT has contacted the city to notify us that they do not have an approved Title VI plan on file for the city of Marquette. A Title VI plan is required for all recipients and subrecipients of federal aid highway funds. In addition to submitting an approved plan to MDOT, the city must also certify that our organization meets compliance requirements by completing and submitting the attached subrecipient application for certification of Title VI and EEO compliance and assurances. As a local agency, our plan must include the designation of the city manager as the Title VI coordinator and EEO officer with full authority to implement the plan, a compliant procedure, training program for staff, methods to prevent discrimination, prevention of discrimination and subcontracting, a limited English proficiency plan, environmental justice plan, and data collection procedures. The attached plan has been reviewed by MDOT and meets their criteria for acceptance. Once the plan is approved, it must be available to the public in the city clerk's office and on the city webpage. In addition, the city will be required to report and certify compliance with Title VI on an annual basis. Fiscal effect, no immediate fiscal effect. Failure to have an approved Title VI plan on file with MDOT will place the city in deficiency status and may result in the withholding of federal aid highway funds. Recommendation, approve the city's Title VI plan and appoint the city manager as the Title VI coordinator. Alternatives as determined by the commission.
Thank you. Commissioner Snyder?
Yeah, I would like to make the motion that we approve the city Title VI plan and appoint the city manager as the Title VI coordinator.
Thank you. Support? Commissioner Convenzi? Thank you. There's a motion by Commissioner Snyder, support by Commissioner Convenzi. Commissioner Snyder?
Well, yeah, this seems to make a lot of sense, especially if we want to keep the federal aid for highway funds. So hope that everybody supports this one.
Thank you. Commissioner Convenzi?
I'd just like to add, this is a mandate, I believe, something that we're required to do. So just for everyone watching, it's...
Okay, thank you. Any other commissioner? Seeing none, all in favor, say yes.
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 Opposed? Motion passes 6-0. Agenda 6, UpCap, in-home service contract, city clerk.
Yes, Your Honor. Background, approximately one half of the Marquette Senior Center budget is constituted of revenues derived through purchase of service agreements such as those under consideration. The contract agreement represents a portion of those revenues. These contracts have been implemented as service reimbursement agreements consistent with the same approach that has been used for more than 30 years. This year's agreement realizes a 2% decrease to $25,450, or an estimated 1,642 units of homemaking services at a rate of $15.50 per unit reimbursement rate. There is a 10% per unit local match required, outlined in the agreement. The city received the agreement from Marquette County on November 1st, 2012. The agreement effective date is October 1st, 2012. Fiscal effect: if this contract is not approved, limited homemaking services will be provided with available alternative funding sources, including local, senior millage, and county allocation dollars. Recommendation: approve the in-home senior service contract and authorize the mayor and clerk to sign the contract. Alternatives as determined by the commission.
Commissioners, pleasure. Commissioner Ryan.
I move we approve the in-home senior service contract and authorize the mayor and clerk to sign the contract.
Thank you. Support. Commissioner Nemi.
Yes, I'll second the motion, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. There's a motion by Commissioner Ryan, support by Commissioner Nemi. Commissioner Ryan, what's your pleasure?
When you've been here long enough, you just kind of remember these from year to year. And I kind of remember last year commenting that it sounds like we're buying something, but actually we're getting revenue through this process. So we're signing a contract agreement that will allow them to provide funding for our senior citizen programs. So it's a good thing.
Okay, thank you very much. Commissioner Nemi?
I just have a question for staff. We have a 2% decrease in revenue and estimate 1,642 units that we're not going to be able to do. Is that actually going to diminish what we can accomplish with this money, or is...
No, we've got, as we've indicated in the fiscal effect, we have other funding sources that we can make up the difference.
Do we do this just in the city, or do these services go out into the townships also?
The UpCap contract is for the 3 townships as well as the city.
I remember looking at the minutes when during the budget sessions at the previous commission, when they came up with the idea for the senior millage, they had talked about once we get it approved in the city that there'd be a request made to the townships to perhaps do some also support. Would it be possible for us to perhaps go to the townships that we benefit and ask that they make up the 2% decrease that we were experiencing?
We could ask. Like I said, some of the dollars that will come from the allocation contract, which is county millage.
Mm-hmm.
But certainly we could ask.
Yeah, because we not only provide this service to the residents of Marquette, but we do it for the greater, the greater Marquette area. And
Correct.
It seems like if we get a reduction in revenue, perhaps they could pony something up.
Thank you, Commissioner Nemi. Any other commissioner? Seeing none. All in favor? Say yes.
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 Opposed? Motion passes 6-0. Item number 7, Marquette Junior Hockey Corporation, doing business as Marquette Electricians AAA Midget Hockey Club, locker room lease. Commissioners? Commissioner Stonehouse? Oh, sorry, clerk.
That's all right.
I forgot about you down there.
That'd be just fine with me.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you, Your Honor. Background: Marquette Junior Hockey Corporation, or MJHC, doing business as Marquette Electricians AAA Midget Hockey Club, has requested the City Commission's consideration in leasing locker room space at Lakeview Arena. Staff has drafted a standard lease agreement which provides for terms and conditions of the request. The monthly payment shall be $500 per month. The term of the lease is 12 months to commence November 1st, 2012. Fiscal effect: the Lakeview Arena Fund will receive $6,000 in revenue for the FY 2012-13 budget cycle. Recommendation: approve the lease agreement with MJHC, doing business as Marquette Electricians AAA Midget Hockey Club, for locker room space at Lakeview Arena for the period November 1, 2012 through October 31st, 2013 at a rate of $500 per month, and authorize the mayor and clerk to sign the contract. Alternatives as determined by the commission.
Thank you. Commissioners? Commissioner Nemi?
Thank you, Your Honor. I move that we approve the lease with Marquette Junior Hockey Corporation, doing business as Marquette Electricians, AAA Midget Hockey Club, for locker room space at Lakeview Arena for the period November 1st, 2012 through October 31st, 2013, at the rate of $500 per month, and that we authorize the mayor and city clerk to sign the lease on behalf of the city.
Thank you. Support? Commissioner Stonehouse?
I will support.
Commissioner Namey?
Well, I think this will benefit not only the junior hockey, but certainly will benefit our arena. We do provide the arena for hockey, and this will help us defray the cost of providing that facility.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Stonehouse?
Just a question of staff. Is this an increase from previous years, or is this pretty well steady at what it has been?
This is using the same square foot fee that's identified in the current budget,
Thank you.
which is $8 a square foot.
Thank you. Commissioner Ryan?
Just to follow up to that, so this lease was in effect last year? This is
It's the same. It's
just
the same
lease?
Yep.
Okay.
Any other commissioner? Seeing none at this time, there's a motion by Commissioner Namey, support by Commissioner Stonehouse. All in favor, say yes.
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 Opposed? Motion passes 6-0. Item number 8, Marquette Junior Hockey locker room lease. City Clerk?
Yes, Your Honor. Background. MJHC has requested the City Commission's consideration in leasing locker room space at Lakeview Arena. Staff has drafted a standard lease agreement which provides for the terms and conditions of the request. The monthly rent payment shall be $290 per month. The term of the lease is 6 months to commence November 1st, 2012. Fiscal effect, the Lakeview Arena Fund will receive $1,740 in revenue for FY 2012-13. Recommendation, approve the lease agreement with MJHC for locker room space at Lakeview Arena for the period November 1, 2012 through April 30th, 2013 at the rate of $290 per month, and authorize the mayor and city clerk to sign the contract. Alternatives as determined by the commission.
Thank you. Commissioners? Commissioner Snyder?
I'd like to move that we approve the lease agreement as read by city clerk.
Thank you. Support? Commissioner Kimbenzi? Commissioner, there's a motion and support. Commissioner Snyder?
No, this seems pretty standard, and happy that we have the facilities to lease out.
Commissioner Kimbenzi?
Nothing more.
Thank you. Any other commissioner? Seeing none, I'll ask a question. All in favor, say yes.
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 Opposed? Motion passes 6-0. And number 9, Marquette Junior Hockey Corporation ice time. City Clerk?
Yes, Your Honor. Background. For the past 15 years, the Lakeview Arena has signed annual user contracts with MJHC for ice time or ice use at the facility. The contracts provide the arena with a predictable revenue stream and the MJHC with a seasonal schedule of ice time. Fiscal effect, the Lakeview Arena Fund will receive a minimum of $196,350 in revenue. Recommendation, approve the contract with the MJHC for ice use at Lakeview Arena for the period November 1, 2012 through March 30, 2013 for a minimum of $196,350, and authorize the mayor and city clerk to sign the contract. Alternatives as determined by the commission.
Thank you, City Clerk. Commissioners, what's your pleasure? Commissioner Ryan?
I'd like to move we approve the contract with Marquette Junior Hockey Corporation for ice use at Lakeview for a minimum of $196,350, and authorize the mayor and clerk to sign the contract.
Support? Commissioner Namey?
I'll support the motion, Your Honor.
Thank you. Commissioner Ryan?
I'd just like to say, you know, many years ago, someone decided to build that, not someone, but the community decided to build that arena, and it was fitting because hockey is part of our culture here in Marquette, but it's also a big, expensive building for the city to operate. And it's really important we have these partnerships with groups like Marquette Junior Hockey because this makes a substantial contribution toward the cost of paying those costs. And so this is, again, I see it as a partnership, working with a lot of volunteers who work to put on this program to make this sport available for these kids, but also to help make this facility feasible for its operations.
Okay, Commissioner, thank you. Commissioner Ryan, thank you for that comment. Commissioner Namey?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Thank you. Any other commissioner? Seeing none, I'll ask a question. All in favor, say yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0. We'll go to agenda addition number 10, fundraising. Commissioner Convenzi.
Thank you. My request to add this as a discussion item tonight comes from looking at specific contracts we have with groups, as well as how certain committees are or are not able to raise funds to support what they do. And I guess I'd like to have us look at a way that we can come up with a policy, probably through ordinance, to come up with something that's more uniform rather than coming up with spot policy, I guess, on how we handle each situation. And I'll give you a few examples. The Sister City Committee, they are not allowed to fundraise, and so they're holding funds in the community foundation, which can be cumbersome to them. And I'm wondering if there isn't a better way, that we can work with our attorney to come up with a way that they can utilize and raise money within the means and the function of a municipality. There's another group, the Beautification Committee, that currently has a contract with us to lease the Father Marquette statue, to restore the reliefs on it. And as everyone knows, there was some vandalism a couple months ago, and what happened because of the contract we have with them is they're ending up paying for the vandalism that really doesn't have anything to do with their restoration efforts. On a further note, by coming up with the contract we have with the Beautification Committee, it doesn't allow the city to use its bargaining power with its budget to capture some state grant funding. A big one, which is a $50,000 capital improvement grant for art. So I'd like to see us as a commission take some time and look at the policy, look at the statutes that limit municipal fundraising and gifting, but certainly find ways that we can help these groups help us better the community, help strengthen our committees. Some great examples, the police department and fundraising for 2 new police dogs. That was a wonderful effort where the community came out and they wanted to help us. And I would like us in the near future to really spend some time looking at a policy that can help us work with these groups, because I feel it's not going to stop here. There's going to be more groups that want to help with us. And I guess before I turn it over to other comments, one ordinance I saw was that community members, organizations that want to help restore, revitalize, donate, if they have projects and it's okay by the city commission, what they do is all the funds are raised plus 10 or 15% that would allow for any overrides to these projects. And the projects are still run by city departments. No relinquish of control of property is given up, and I guess it's a win-win because the funding isn't coming from the general fund or other departments. So I guess in looking at what's coming down the road, I know with the Heartwood Forest, I think there might be an opportunity for us where we need to visit this and think about how do we come up with contracts with outside groups, whether it's to help us maintain our property or help community members and organizations invest in things that are important to us as a city. So,
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Snyder?
This definitely seems to be a broad discussion area. For me, I'm hearing two things that you're concerned with, which is one, how we contract with organizations within our community to provide for services that may or may not have been traditionally part of the city's responsibilities, and then another one specifically on how entities within the city, whether they be boards and committees of the city commission or whether they be city departments, are dealing with fundraising. If I'm correct in hearing those two major themes out of those, I would say that I've had similar concerns, and I believe that, well, no, I don't believe. I would be happy to support the city commission having a work session on each one of those separately with, as much information and detail that city staff can provide us, as well as what other commissioners have experience of, so that we can actually sit down and hash through these, because it's a much bigger discussion than what we can really get into tonight, but I think a work session would be great for those.
Okay, thank you. Any other, Commissioner Ryan?
I think Commissioner Cambenzi is correct in that we're kind of all over the map. We did fundraising with the police department. We don't allow it somewhere else. We gave $75,000 to a skate park, just to mention three different situations. So I don't know if City Attorney Keefe has had a chance to think about this in advance of the meeting tonight, but are there some general guidelines you can inform us about?
Well, let me say this. First of all, I'd be glad to, if the commission wants me to look at fundraising as a concept and what statutes might apply and what the policy of the city is, if there is one. So that's not a problem. I think in terms of what I heard in the beginning, fundraising and municipal gifting, gifting we can't do. Charitable gifting is not allowed under municipal law. But that doesn't mean that contracts can't be let with organizations which can sometimes achieve some of the same goals. So I think it's something that we might want to take a look at if the commission wants to. I'm not clear on the fundraising that was mentioned, if we fundraise for the dogs or not, if that was a private, I don't know if the city police chief knows how that was done, but I'm just not familiar with that. I'm sorry.
Sure, we fundraised through the public and with donations with the approval of the commission.
So I'm not exactly sure what our policy is. If we do it in certain cases and not in others, I don't know.
I think that's the policy.
But
are you aware of any state statutes that apply as far as fundraising?
I haven't had it, really this has just come up, so I'm looking at it for the first time. I do know about municipal gifting.
Right.
But I'd be glad to look at fundraising if the commission is interested in doing that.
I think that would be a first step, to continue this discussion.
If I could just add one more comment. In talking to the city manager, he did give me back some answers to my question, and it's not that, I guess he hasn't looked at these or they aren't things that have been thought about. But certainly it looks like, we have different avenues to explore, and I think with Ron's help, I think we can really kind of narrow down where we want to go. And I just want to reiterate that the reason I'm bringing this up is because I think these are vital to really great things that happen in our city, and I want to see them continue, but I want to see them continue in a way that I guess each committee, each organization that comes to us has the same chance or the same option. So.
Okay, thank you. Any other commissioner wishing to? Commissioner Nemi?
I guess I would make a motion asking the city attorney to review the law in this area and provide us information on what what latitude we have, what latitude perhaps we don't have, and perhaps if there are some state statutes or other laws that would allow us to accomplish this. Well, that's my motion. I guess I can't go much further.
Okay, Commissioner Nemi has the motion on this issue. Is there support? Commissioner Ryan?
I'll support the motion.
Okay. Commissioner Nemi, any further?
I just, well, I guess, why don't we vote on the motion, then I have another comment that's kind of extraneous to that specific motion.
Commissioner Ryan?
I think this is important. We had this discussion, and I think getting the facts before we go further is important, and finding out what we can do, what we can't do. But I do agree there are groups in our community who want to do things, and in some cases, they're groups affiliated with the city. And if there are ways that, we can find to make that happen, I think it's going to be a positive step forward for the city of Marquette.
So anyways, before I ask for a motion, I'd probably like to ask the city clerk on what kind of motion are we voting on? Sorry
This would
about
be
that.
just a standard motion. I think we have a mover and support, and would be to direct the city attorney to review the legal ramifications, or that would outline, and hopefully the research would outline the latitude that the city may have in going in these directions with city gifting.
Commissioner Namey, is that what you
That's
were
fine.
looking at?
Very fine.
Okay, there's a motion and a support. All in favor, say yes.
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 Opposed? Motion passes 6-0. Thank you.
I just had one quick comment. The example that Commissioner Kamenzi mentioned about the statue, well, two issues. Hopefully they have some insurance that will cover the vandalism costs, and the other is, it seems like our Arts and Culture Committee could have gone and gotten the $50,000 grant and perhaps contracted the beautification committee to do that work. And perhaps that's, some of the things we can look at in the future. But I too would like to see us, support our committees, and I have some trepidation about, just letting these efforts go to nonprofit groups, because sometimes with nonprofit groups there's little control and very little transparency associated with them. And I like the fact that we as a city are providing some of these things without cost to the city.
Thank you, Commissioner Namey. Commissioner Stonehouse.
As long as it was opened up, I think it's very, very critical we all understand the battlefield. We all understand the rules of engagement. We understand what rules, regulations, laws, and statutes are out there that we have to follow. And once we understand those, I think everything else will just kind of drop into its place. And that's not only for this commission and city staff, but more importantly, and perhaps restated as important, is for all of the various committees and groups that are out there. So once it's on the books, once it's clear and we all understand it, I think we can proceed from that base of knowledge. So, good idea.
Any other commissioner? City manager, was there any comments that you wanted? Or?
Thank you, Your Honor. No, I've, as Commissioner Kamenzi noted, I've offered comments before. I'd only caution the commission to know there isn't a free lunch. Even the cost of administering a program like this ultimately is going to have to be borne by the city in some shape or form. There are a lot of policy trade-offs which I've shared with the commission already, and I'll support the deliberations any way I can.
Okay, thank you very much. At this time, we'll move to public comment. Comment should be limited to 5 minutes per person. Please state your name and physical address, please. Anybody wishing to address the commission at this time?
Thank you. Frank Jeff Verito, 350 East Ridge, Marquette. These are my opinions. October 29th, the group presented their archaeological project at Mount Marquette. If the cabin was located near a water source, isn't there fear of sedimentation from the nearby excavation? Neither they nor you mentioned a word about protective measures or site restoration. Everything is probably cool, it's just the fact that none of you asked. What isn't cool is that Mr. St. Ange missed 3 of his last 4 meetings, yet you kept voting to excuse him. How can you excuse such immaturity when he was likely making a statement similar to those that he did for 3 years sitting here with that angry look on his face? Why did he run and make such an issue of others running, only to appear so miserable himself? We'll never know either this or the reason for his strange outburst of December 12th. Please do not ever appoint him to another board. October 29th, 7 of you approved a flawed agenda that offered no public opportunity in advance of your charter resolution. You ought to have handled the approval portion as a business item. We don't need your resolution to suggest to us how we should vote, especially knowing some of the commission's members. They primarily revised the language and rode with the status quo so you can keep rolling like you're rolling. The following issue was raised under the advice of an attorney. My September 24th letter to the editor follows. The County Road 595 proposal is a similar version of the denied Woodland Road, promoted under the guise that it's not quite as destructive. Even the enclosed small-scale map in the EPA mailing depicted much more than enough wetlands affected to warrant the denial of County Road 595 for the same reasons. To replace existing wetlands with unnatural ones is ludicrous. The threatened wetlands are perfect just as they are, right where they belong, in prime moose habitat. Equally weak is the argument that there are already roads along much of the route. Note the difference between narrow dirt roads and an engineered thoroughfare. We've recently seen a mining company, or enterprise, demonstrate the epitome of the hurdle-by-hurdle approach that corporations use to force their presence upon us. The original application stated the company's intention to produce power on site and to use existing transportation routes. They apparently sought to get their foot in the door before proceeding to the next hurdle. Citizens cannot legally behave this way. To watch MDEQ officials ride along with these widely known tactics in an alleged done deal from day one has sickened me. They seemingly allowed the permitting process and the regulations to be used as instruction manuals on how to force in a mine, even when experts claim there's no way to accomplish sulfide mining safely below such a fragile aquifer. Suddenly, an untold number of trees were destroyed for power lines, followed by this urgent need for a haul road that would consume more acreage than the blighted mine site itself, not to mention access for potentially major exploitation over some of our region's wildest remaining terrain. Over this road's lifespan, I fear many times the wetlands would be threatened than by the construction route itself. County Road 595 threatens to open the farthest reaches of Marquette County to logging and additional prospecting, all based upon alleged mistruths that a company with a controversial track record used to get its foot in the door to generate power on site to use existing routes. The only way to teach big business to behave ethically is to deny County Road 595. At the EPA's August 28, 2012 hearing, we learned how pitifully our elected officials represent us when every one of them supported the road, followed by the common folks, over 2/3 of whom opposed the roads. Several citizens recommended rail transportation as the safest, most efficient, and less polluting option. The editor censored the letter for 4 reasons: accusing the mine of forcing their presence upon us, alleging a done deal from day one, use of the word blighted, and finally, all based upon mistruths that a company with a controversial track record used to get its foot in the door to generate power on site and to use existing haul routes. What news has this newspaper been covering not to realize what's happened? Or are they censoring the letter because of their obvious mining interests? Why else would they censor this, yet published another person's letter that bashed the President of the United States? Such mentality goes hand in hand with what certain commission members choose to say and what they ignore in order to manipulate their desired outcomes. The editor opted to censor coverage of what we all saw before our very eyes. Let the miners enjoy his newspaper. The rest of us deserve a free press.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else wishing to address the commission at this time? Anyone else wishing to address the commission at this time? Seeing none, I'll close this portion of public comment and move to commissioner comment. We'll start with Commissioner Ryan.
Well, first of all, I'd like to say I think we had a good discussion tonight on this whole subject of fundraising. I think it's a good subject for us to look at. As we look back, we as a commission have been kind of, as I said before, all over the map. And so I think approaching it and coming up with a policy or a plan or an ordinance, whatever it takes, is a good idea. Beyond that, I guess I'd just say something on the lighter side, but congratulate our neighbors up the road, the Ishpeming High School football team. Had a chance to watch that game on television, enjoyed it very much. Here's a group of young men and a coach who overcame some real challenges this year and showed what they could do. And that young man who coaches that team is from Marquette, and so I think that's something we can all take pride in. It's an outstanding achievement. It's a very interesting year for that team, and possibly tomorrow they'll be announced as the winner of another award from Sports Illustrated for standing up for a young man with special needs, so I think that's pretty special too. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Ryan. Commissioner Stonehouse.
Well, the only item tonight, I guess, is I'd like to congratulate my fellow commissioner, Commissioner Snyder, for the article that he wrote for the Michigan Municipal League magazine called Review. And the article is on sustainability. I'm sure you can probably find it online, and it's very interesting, very good, and not only brought credit to himself, but also, I think, to the city of Marquette, too. So thank you and congratulations. Nothing further.
Thank you, Commissioner Stonehouse. Commissioner Kambenzi.
I think the only thing I want to say again is that by initiating the discussion tonight on fundraising, that I am in full support of finding ways to let the community help us get some of these projects done. And I think it's a real positive thing that we're going to take a closer look at it. So that's it.
Okay, thank you very much, Commissioner Snyder.
Well, I want to thank Commissioner Stonehouse for that recognition. It was a fun article to write. And to Commissioner Kambenzi, thank you for bringing up the fundraising issue. I'm looking forward to the discussion that this ensues because, you know, as we're starting to have diminished funding for state and federal channels, we've got to be able to work with our community more and more, and the burden falls on them rather than just through their tax dollars to us. So I'm looking forward to this discussion to find new ways that we can start working with our community. A few other notes. In the last week, I've been invited to speak to North Star Academy students twice, once to their civics class and another to their Jobs for American Graduates, which is a partnership between North Star Academy and Michigan Works, and had the chance to talk to, rough estimate, about 30 different students between those two. Some really, really great students, very interested in civic matters, civic involvement, civic engagement. So I'm hoping that they approach the other commissioners as well, because I know they're interested in learning what the process is and getting involved. We actually have two that came tonight without any promise of extra credit or anything like that. They actually just wanted to come and check out the meeting. So I'm excited to see where some of them go. Another note is I just recently read that Ashland is going to be tearing down their ORDOC. And, so, with the ORDOC that we have in our community that's just sitting there that we don't really have access to other than the fact that it's beautiful. I know there's been some really big projects planned for it, whether it's a botanical garden, condos, everything under the sun has come up. But I'd be really curious to know if there's a way that we can affordably allow pedestrian access to it. And if there is, and if the commission's interested in spending some money to allow safe pedestrian access out there, I think that would be a real treasure to our city. I don't want us to tear it down. I want us to embrace it as something really important to our citizens. I want to thank the Brownfield Redevelopment Authority for showing up, even though they've taken off already. But I appreciate the brief, and I look forward to hopefully a work session with them to be able to figure out what some of their projects are in more depth and in a public forum. And last thing, this Wednesday, our newest sports team for the Marquette area, the Dead River Derby, is having a fundraiser at the ORDOC where they will be showing a documentary about the development of roller derby into what it is today. And I would encourage any viewers at home or anybody here to go check that out. It would be worth it.
Thank you. Commissioner Nemi.
Thank you, Your Honor. I just have a question from staff related to Commissioner Schneider's comment about the ORDOC. Don't we have some stumbling block of the reuse of the ORDOC has to be water related because it's located on Lake Superior bottomlands?
No, sir. current permit that we have allows, as long as we don't change the physical footprint of the dock, to use it as like a public promenade. And so we can't construct any type of permanent appurtenances to it. We can't put finger docks off the side, but we can allow lay-along docking along the side. And this had come up earlier this year. One of the first things that we'd have to do would be to conduct an integrity check on the structure. And so we'd have to bring in an engineering firm to take a look at what the condition of the dock is now, to make sure that it would be safe for everybody before we could come up with some kind of an estimate for how we might finish it off. But at that time, we were really looking at what would it take to create some kind of a public promenade space where people could walk out and just enjoy walking out to the end of the dock, potentially using it for fishing or for, like I said, lay-along mooring. We have within the permit the ability to put temporary type structures. So if there were things like hot dog stands or other kind of activities like that, right now we're permitted to do that. The permit expires in about 16 years. So we do have a little bit of time to study this. And as I understand it, I think unfortunately Carl left, but some of these suggestions came up as part of the waterfront use groups that we conducted through the summertime. So I know people are very excited, if nothing else, getting the opportunity just to reclaim it, maybe connect it into the existing boardwalk along the south side, and to just create it as a more usable public space.
Good. I'd like to see us do some, use that somehow, but it was my understanding that, for instance, I think it was an arboretum or some idea had come up, and it was my understanding that it had to be a water-related use, and I guess that was one of the stumbling blocks of the proposed condominiums, is that isn't a water-related use. But perhaps we could get a report on that and get my...
Absolutely, be glad to
answer.
provide that.
Yeah, thank you. That's all I have, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And I'm going to recognize a couple of city employees here on their anniversary. December 9th, Marquette Fire Department Lieutenant John Koshorik will have 15 years of service. On December 18th, wastewater plant maintenance mechanic and special equipment operator Neil Hayward will have 25 years of service. And on December 5th, Public Works motor pool equipment mechanic and welder John Stadman will celebrate his 35th year of service. Again, we congratulate these city employees on their years of service within their department. And I'd also like to commend Public Works Superintendent Scott Combenzi and his staff on receiving the 2012 Safe and Sustainable Snow Fighting Award for Excellence in Environmental and Effective Management in the Storage of Winter Road Salt. And congratulations also to the Hematite football team, Coach Jeff Olson, his coaching staff, and all the fans that went downstate to cheer him on. They played against a very strong 13-0 team, and Ishpeming went down there as the underdog and showed their UP power and won the MHSAA Division 7 State Football Championship 20-14. Way to go, Hematites. I'd like to commend Marquette Police Officer Mike Roth for coordinating the Ishpeming Hematite State Champions police escort, as the team bus, vans, and all the vehicles traveling behind the bus were escorted by all the police agencies from Munising through Chalkley Township, City of Marquette, and then the Michigan State Police and the Marquette County Sheriff took the escort and were met from Nagani PD and Ishpeming Police Fire Department. Again, we thank Marquette Police Officer Mike Roth and all of the police agencies who assisted in the police escort. And I'd also like to remind everybody or everyone of the upcoming Christmas parade this Thursday, November 29th, starting at 6 p.m. at the intersection of West Fair Avenue and 3rd Street. The parade will head south on 3rd Street to the Commons building, where Santa Claus will perform the official tree lighting ceremony and bring the children for picture taking with Santa Claus. And with that, I'll ask our city manager, Bill Fida, for any comments. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. I have nothing further.
And with that, we're adjourned.